Yes, this is Dr. Malik Rahim, and this is a general discussion lecture for class Counseling 5070 Lifespan and Human Development. Um, Today, I want to basically give a brief talk on the human development theories and the theoretical models of human development. The complexity of human development invites the creation of multiple perspectives and theories. Some are global and grand, addressing principles that apply to every domain of development, whereas others are domain specific, focusing on cognitive development. Theories provide a framework for the study of human development that furthers scientific vision and stimulates the application of science for public policy and social programs. One of the most important things is that theories help organize a large body of information and provide ways of examining facts. They also help to focus our search for new understandings of things and explain how findings are interpreted and identify major disagreements among the different scholars. So, what are some of the theories in human development? The first one I want to discuss is psychoanalytic theories. While much attention has been given to the psychoanalytic position on issues of determinism, instinctive drives, and unconscious, the early work of psychoanalytic theorists, especially the founder of Sigmund Freud, highlight the essential role played by early childhood experiences. Dr. Freud's position was that a person's psychological responses and behavior were reflections of instinctual biological drives. Freud theorized that objects are means for satisfying our instinctual drives for pleasure, shifted throughout our early years of development, moving from the mouth and oral stimulation to the anus and the experience of control, and eventually to the genitals and the inclusion of sex role behaviors and identification. Freud theorized that it is during our childhood, really in our first 6 years, that we develop ways to resolve conflicts between the desires for pleasure and the demands, often repressive, encountered. Freud, it was this dynamic process of conflict resolution that he believed shaped one's development and later lifestyle. Contemporary psychoanalytic theorists have modified many of the tenets originally presented by Freud. Emphasis on the importance of early childhood experiences, especially experience in and with relationships, continues to play a pivotal role in their understanding of adult choices and behavior. Psychosexual stages of development from 1 to 18 are implications for human growth and development. And the stages, five basic stages in the psychosocial stages of development. And I'm gonna let's kind of go over those. First stage, you have the oral stage, and this is usually from birth to 1 years old, roughly. An infant primary interaction with the world is through their mouth, and the mouth is vital for eating, and the infant derives pleasure from oral stimulation through gratifying activities such as tasting and sucking. Is this pleasure, if this pleasure is not met or have an unmet need, the child may develop an oral fixation later in life. Some examples of which include thumb sucking, smoking, fingernail biting, and overeating. The next stage after this is the anal stage, and that's usually between the ages of 1 to 3 years old. And with the development of new cells and the control provided by these cells, the sphincter, the focus shifts from oral stimulation to controlling bladder and bowel movements. Toilet training is primary issue for children and parents in this stage, and too much pressure can result in an excessive need for order and cleanliness later in life, while too little pressure from parents can lead to messy or destructive behavior later in life. The third stage is the Phallic Stage. This usually is between, let's say, the ages of 3 to 6. And with this stage, what usually happens in this stage is at this point in development, the child focuses on the id's instinctual energy shifts to the genitals, and the id is the basic pleasure principle, and it is during this period that children develop an attraction to the opposite sex parent. It is also that during this period that children adopt the values and characteristics of the same sex parent and form the superego. The latent stage, 6 to 11 years old. During this stage, children develop social skills, values, relationships with peers, and adults outside the family. And then there finally is the genital stage, and this is between the ages of 11 to 18. Now the thing is that these ages are not like necessarily written in stone, but it gives you a decent idea of the age range that's happening in these stages. But during the genital stage, 11 to 18, people develop a strong interest in the opposite sex, and the onset of puberty becomes the libido to become active once again. If this is developed successfully, the individual will continue to develop into a well-balanced person. Okay. Also, one of the most important developmental theorists in human development is Erickson, and it's a psychosocial development theory. And while just like Freud, he focused on early childhood with an emphasis on development, but unlike Freud, who focused on early childhood with an emphasis on biological instinctual urges as key to human development, Erickson presented a model emphasizing challenges and tasks presented across one's lifespan as key to understanding human development. Further, unlike Freud, Erickson emphasized development from within a social context. And that's why it's a psychosocial theory. And he focused on both the biological and the genetic origins of behaviors as interacting with the direct influence of environmental forces over time. In his developmental theory, he looked at biological unfoldings about our social and cultural setting take place.